Hey there, welcome to GemIIToys. Here we are once again, this time taking a look at another comparison video of 3 Captain America figures, the original Avengers, Civil War, and Endgame Cap. So, in this case we're not going to do a competition, as the main 2 contenders would be my original Avengers figure. He is missing for this comparison his clean shield. You do see the die-cast one there of the Civil War version, but that shield, I feel like if I just touch it, the paint just comes right off, so I excluded it for this video. As mentioned, the Civil War version is included for this, kind of like a referee, is I did get this figure when I first started collecting, and what you see is all I got. I did buy him loose a few years back, and my most recent purchase, the Endgame Captain America. Really loving this figure. So let's just compare what I have, but first remember to subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss out on any future content like this. So as mentioned, the main 2 would be these, the original Avengers. This is the box, what it would look like. This figure was done about almost 10 years ago, and then the most recent Captain America figure of Endgame. Both boxes are very nice and very similar at that. However, I do like the cutouts on the sides, as you can see here, of the Endgame version, as well as just more color and more graphics going on. So I do like it better, of course, the most recent, but both are very, very similar. Then you take off the slip-off covers, and this is what you would see, showcasing both figures inside the box. This is what the bottoms would look like. One says Captain America, other says Avengers Endgame. The backs of the boxes inside the slip-on covers, or slip off, whichever you choose. Now, taking a look inside each of their respective boxes, this is pretty much how you would receive each figure. Got 2 shields with each one. Very similar situation, as well as presentation. So next up, we're going to be taking a look at the accessories that come with each one. Starting first with the original Avengers, you do get more hands, as you do get 7 as opposed to 5 with the Endgame version. 2 shields, 1 is clean. This is, as mentioned before, the Civil War die-cast one, but it kind of looks similar if the paint doesn't peel off, that is. Got that hoodie and this weapon from Thanos' troops. Decent amount of accessories, but you do get more with the Endgame version. You get the extra helmet, the hammer, you get the compass, 2 shields. I'm getting ahead of myself here, but as mentioned, 1 broken, 1 slightly dirty, and 5 extra hands and 2 mouth plates. So I feel like the Endgame version, recently with Hot Toys, they do charge us more, but at least they are giving us more accessories as opposed to about 10 years ago. Now, taking a look at the shields, we have the cleanest one I have, which is my Civil War die-cast shield. My personal favorite is, I feel that shield, no other shield as far as I've seen beats it. Here we have the original Avengers one, battle damaged. Endgame, slightly dirty, or not so slightly, but I guess you could call it the dirty one. And then the broken shield. Now, I understand how Hot Toys did make these in plastic. As die cast, it's a little harder to make a broken shield, but as I mentioned, die cast just looks best. I just feel it looks just so much more realistic. The shine of the silver area as well as the reds, it just really looks nice and vibrant, and I absolutely love it. So it's definitely my preferred of the bunch. Now taking a look at these straps, very similar situation. And I bet you couldn't tell here which one is the die-cast one by looking at this side of them. So next up, a little bit more deeper looking into the accessories. As mentioned before, you have the, I think it's called the Chachari. I'm not sure, it's some type of weapon that they take from Thanos' troops. We saw that hoodie. And with the endgame version, 2 mouth plates. Didn't get any of those with the Avengers and original Avengers version. So do get more. And here I wanted to show, this is a Mjolnir that I got. It's made out of metal, or I'm not sure, die cast. It's a third-party one, is compared to the Hot Toys one, and the handle definitely looks much better. I mean, overall the detail looks better, even though it's plastic, but I thought it would be fun to kind of compare these two, third party versus Hot Toys. Taking a look at the bases here, we have the original Avengers base. This was the typical base at the time, came with most figures, and this is pretty much the standard base now for Avengers figures. And either though they are, nothing too exciting, either one is nothing too exciting. Of course, the hexagonal base is a much better looking base, and it does have some graphics, and I do of course prefer it. So taking a look at the figures, starting with the original Avengers one next to Endgame. Here's a close look. I do still like how this figure looks. I know Hot Toys is releasing their 2012 version, which is basically a reissue of this figure, and it does look better. I saw it at the Marvel All-Stars event and definitely improved. Looking forward to that. But next to this guy, of course, the proportions of the body and just everything overall on the Endgame version is just quite better. Looks much more like a person is inside as opposed to the figure from 10 years ago. Not so much, but not a bad looking figure. I still like the figure quite a bit. Here you can see totally side by side what they look like. There's something really iconic, of course. The iconic look of, or more signature look, I guess, would go to the original Avengers. It's just more like I remember him in the comics, of course, but I do prefer the Endgame. I think it's the ultimate Cap. Taking a look at the backs here real quick, not going to spend too much time on this. Neither has America's butt. Pretty flat. A little bit better maybe on the original Avengers version. Yeah. Different design, of course. 2 different movies, 2 different looks for Cap. I mean, having both is, I think, totally justified. They're quite different. Next up, taking a look here at Civil War Cap next to Endgame Cap. This outfit is quite more similar to the Endgame, so comparing these two does make that much more sense. There you have Civil War Cap. Very nice figure. However, taking a look at this guy next to him, I so much prefer the scale armor. The suit has got that rubber and really nice texture to it. And then of course the knee pads, elbow pads, made out of plastic. Do prefer it. Here taking a look at the boots. It's interesting that the paint application is better on the Endgame version. You can see those straps do look better. Taking a look, a little closer look at the belts here. I do like how the Endgame version looks very extremely similar to the Civil War version. However, the paint application is slightly better on the Civil War version, which is kind of interesting. Taking a look at these two side by side, it's just so much better on the Endgame version. Just looks, the traps and the proportions of the body, once again, just looks so much more like a person is inside on the Endgame version. Taking a look at the backs here, once again, not much of America's butt here on either figure. And that the straps, it's kind of interesting, a little higher on the Civil War version. Taking a look here at the head sculpts, does look tanner on the Civil War version, more pale application, which is in my opinion better. Paint job is better, the likeness is better, the proportions of the face, just everything is quite improved. Now here's something I wanted to do for fun, which is actually testing out the mouth plate on my Civil War. As mentioned, my Civil War, I only have this one mouth plate as I did get the figure loose, and this looks like a work of Picasso. It's kind of it's basically to prove that it doesn't work out. If you want to use mouth plates, swap mouth plates. This looks slightly better. Do have a gap there on the nose. Looks pretty funny. And then, you know, this doesn't look as bad here. The angry one is the only one I managed to fit in there fairly good. I'm still being careful, I don't want to damage it. And it doesn't look too bad. The paint application is different, is the Civil War version is a tanner looking figure, so it doesn't really match. And then there we have the Picasso's work next to the Endgame Picasso. Taking a look here at the straps. This is an actual strap. The material does go through the, kind of want to call it the buckle of these straps, as opposed to just a plastic piece. So I do prefer that on the Civil War version, an actual strap going through of material, if that makes any sense. And here, taking a look at all three together. Let's see what these three look like. I tried to stand them pretty much in the same pose with the same distance between their legs so we can see a difference in height. And as you can see, there is. The Endgame version definitely is the tallest, slightly taller than the Civil War. And then, of course, the shortest of the bunch is the original Avengers. Taking a look at head sculpts here, we have the original Avengers. I'm not sure if this was considered a good head sculpt at the time. I wasn't collecting back then, but it definitely doesn't hold up. To me, it looks nothing like Chris Evans, as opposed to the new head sculpt. Looks quite a bit like Chris Evans. However, for some reason, he gives me Howard Stark vibes sometimes, but I do like it. Don't get me wrong. I do love the new head sculpt. I've never used the, here's, we're taking a look at the backs, but I've never used the head sculpt that comes with the original Avengers figure. And here you're kind of going to see they're both kind of standing up in like a very military position. And swapping head sculpts here, this looks great to me. I love how this looks. I think this is a great way to utilize your Endgame head sculpt. Here, not so much. As you can see, the bodies have gotten a little bigger, so the head sculpt is not great, the expression is not great, and on this body it just makes it look quite terrible. So just having a little fun here. Here I decided to put the Civil War cap. I decided to put the Endgame helmet on the top and make it like it's a suit. These two look like they're battling over the suit even though it's not really the case. The Endgame suit is much better. Maybe this guy wants the Civil War suit. And he did get the beautiful Civil War shield. I think this is a great way to upgrade your original Avengers cap if you have those accessories. Looks great to me, that combination. And here, this is pretty much, no, actually completely stock. He's got his stock shield, the dirty one, and nothing changed. So just messing around here, trying different things as I like to do. And the ultimate mess around is this I put the mouth plate in the helmet. It actually can be done, but it looks weird. So I do like this broken shield, but as I mentioned, this does look, the Civil War, to be clear, die-cast shield is just the best. And there he's holding, I got my Endgame version holding the die-cast shield as well as Thor's hammer, and I think that's how I'm going to display him in the shelf. I think that's a great, I mean, I do really like that broken shield, but gosh, just so much more prefer die-cast. And this is a nice way, in my opinion, to display the original Avengers cap with the Endgame head sculpt, which is quite the upgrade from the head sculpt he came, as we saw before. And there he's holding the compass. Maybe, where did you get this moment? However, he was wearing the helmet when he said that, as that was the older version, 2012 version of Cap, the ignorant one. So, putting these three together, definitely my favorite is by far the Endgame version. And that's going to conclude this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun trying out the different accessories and kind of combining these three together, as well as comparing them. So that concludes this video. Subscribe, like, and comment. Enjoy the path of collecting, and I'll catch you guys next time.